Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 Report, episode 354. Sorry about that. I want to put a quick blurb in the chat. All right. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Lots of stuff happening. I mean, it happens every day. You know what I've noticed? These yahoos in lamestream media and even in the conservative, they'd rather talk to you than leave some print somewhere. So it's so hard to get material ready for a show, and you're like, show prep takes longer and longer because some of these guys, I think they just don't want to put it down in print. I mean, I guess they don't think we can read or what, but they do it anyway. But welcome to the JP8 Report, episode 354. And where am I going with this? Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So before we get started, I just saw a burst of news traffic come across, and it said that Chuck Norris is in the hospital. From what I was reading, just give y'all a quick, oh, come on, really? It says, Chuck Norris, age 86, rushed to the hospital in Hawaii after a medical emergency. And let's see, he's rushed to the hospital, medical emergency. Walker, Texas Ranger alum was on the island of Kauai when an unknown incident occurred. And that outlet, insiders told the outlet that he is in good spirits. So that's good news, right? Just to let y'all know, I mean, it's still news. Excuse me. Wow. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. And then go back over here. All right. Chuck Norris is in the hospital right now. And then, and as we get started, if you are watching live or watching on demand, right? If you're not already a follower of the JPA Report, please click that follow button, right? And then give us a like by pressing that thumbs up button. And then, like I put in the chat just a second ago, chat. Let's chat back and forth, okay? I'll either write you back or I'll just say something over the net so everyone can hear it. Also, my good friend Rob, he's my hall monitor, but he said he got a full plate today. He will not be online, so it's either me all by myself or my buddy Code for Life might be in there too. Not sure right now. All right. So yeah, follow and chat. Follow and chat. Follow and chat. All right. All right. So let's get started with the JPA report. And I got a letter from George Washington to John Hancock. Ooh, this is good. So y'all like this one, right? Sir, it was with great pleasure I inform you that on Sunday, the 17th, at about 9 o'clock in the afternoon, the Ministerial Army evacuated the town of Boston, and that the forces of the United Colonies are now in actual possession thereof. I beg leave to congratulate you, sir, and the Honorable Congress on this happy event, and particularly as it is effected without endangering the lives and property of the remaining unhappy inhabitants. I have great reason to imagine their flight was precipitated by the appearance of a work which I had ordered to be thrown up last Saturday night on the eminence of Dorchester, which lay nearest to Boston Neck, called Newk's Hill. The town, although it has suffered greatly, is not in so bad a state as I expected to find it, and I have a particular pleasure in being able to inform you, sir, that your house has received no damage worth mentioning. Your furniture is in tolerable order, and the family pictures are all left entire and untouched. Captain Canuzo takes charge of the whole until he shall receive further orders from you. As soon as the ministerial troops had quitted the town, I ordered 1,000 men who had had the smallpox, under command of General Putnam, to take possession of the heights, which I shall endeavor to fortify it in such a manner as to prevent their return should they attempt it. But as they are still in the harbor, I thought not prudent to march off with the main body of the army until I should be fully satisfied they had quitted the coast. I have therefore only detached 5 regiments besides the rifle battalion to New York, and shall keep the remainder here till all suspicion of the return ceases. The situation in which I found their works evidently discovered that their retreat was made with great precipitation. They have left their barracks and other works of wood at Bunker's Hill, and all standing, have destroyed but a small part of their lines. They have also left a number of fine pieces of cannon, which they first spiked up, also a very large iron mortar, and, as I am informed, they have thrown another over the end of your wharf. I have employed proper persons to drill the cannon, but doubt not, shall save the most of them. I am not yet able to procure an exact list of all the stores they have left. As soon as it can be done, I shall take care to transmit it to you. From an estimate of what the quartermaster general has already discovered, the amount will be 25 or 30,000 pounds. Part of the powder mentioned in yours of the 6 has already arrived. The remainder I have ordered to be stopped on the road, as we have no occasion for it here. The letter to General Thomas I immediately sent to him. He desired to leave for 3 or 4 days to settle some of his private affairs, which he will set out for his command in Canada. I am happy that my conduct in intercepting Lord Drummond's letter is approved by Congress. I have the honor to be, with sincere respect, sir, your most obedient servant. That is an awesome letter, especially for the unhappy people in Boston. Well, great victory for the Continental Army and of the United Colonies. Remember, we weren't called the United States yet. Okay, we were called the United Colonies. All right, so there, and in the Dalmatian, I keep saying I do not have any type of update on the Dalmatian. I'm going to get on their Facebook. You know what? While we're talking, I'm here anyway, right? Let's see. Let's see if they put any type of update on here. Let's see if something comes up. There we go. March 12th update. What's today? The 19th. Steve is back home. Okay, I can tell you his name now. All right. Happy update today. This is March 12th. Steve is back home and doing surprisingly well. There is still a lot of healing that needs to be done, but he is determined and anxious to get back on the grill. Thank you for all the prayers and support. While we meet this challenge head on, we'll be back before you know it. We'll be back. All right, those guys are awesome. If you've never met the Dalmatian guys, you need to do it. All right, so let's get back over here. Iran update. All right, now we're into the JP8 report. This afternoon, I do have an interview with Tully Meyer. He is Coryell County Commissioner 2 candidate. He's in the runoff with with Scott Weddle. Scott Weddle's the actual commissioner. Both of them two will challenge each other on May 26th in the runoff, right? But Tully Meyer will be here this afternoon, and I'm still working with Scott Weddle also. All right. Operation Epic Fury. There was a dignified transfer yesterday in Dover, Delaware. During the press briefing this morning with the Secretary of War and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, they were describing how solemn of a procession it was. And Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, he was also talking about some of the stuff that he's experienced when he was in the Army. He showed a KIA bracelet, which I'm not wearing one, but he lost a good friend of his named Sergeant Alonzo, I think it is. But he died in a oh man, I think he said he died in Afghanistan in 2011, 10 years after 9/11, right? But he was doing a remembrance for him, like I do with some of my Army buddies that didn't make it. So that happened yesterday. He said 7,000 targets were hit. Qatar tells Iran diplomats to leave. They have 24 hours to leave Qatar. Qatar, their liquid natural gas facility was damaged due to Iranian drone barrage, and then Trump issued a threat. This is what he wrote on his threat. Okay, there, got extra one. Okay, here we go. Israel, out of anger at what has happened in the Middle East, has violently lashed out at a major facility known as South Pars gas field in Iran. A relatively small section of the whole has been hit. The United States knew nothing of this particular attack, and the country of Qatar was in no way, shape, or form involved with it, nor did they have any idea of what was going to happen. Unfortunately, Iran did not know this, and any of the pertinent facts pertaining to the south part of the attack, and unjustifiably and unfairly attacked a portion of Qatar's LNG gas facility. No more attacks will be made by Israel pertaining to this extremely important and valuable South Pars field unless Iran unwisely decides to attack a very innocent, in this case, Qatar, in which instance the United States of America, with or without the help of consent to Israel, will massively blow up the entirety of the South Pars gas field at an amount of strength and power that Iran has never seen or witnessed before. I do not want to authorize this level of violence and destruction because of the long-term implications that will have on the future of Iran. But if Qatar's LNG is attacked again, I will not hesitate to do so. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. All right. So I'm telling you, if you are if you are in Iran and you just read that message or on Truth Social, it needs to be relayed to the powers that be. Like, don't do it again. Do not tempt President Trump, because if you try to call this bluff, you're going to pay a dear price, and you'll be looking for those 72 virgins, and you ain't going to find them. All right. The IDF, Israeli Defense Forces, has pushed deeper into Lebanon, going after Hezbollah. Saudi Arabia intercepted several drones yesterday. I believe it was 7 missiles and 4 drones, something like that. The United Arab Emirates denounced the Iranian strikes on the Qatar and itself, because they got hit yesterday also. And then Saudi Arabia said all trust in Iran is gone. Yesterday, we used more 5,000-pound bunker buster bombs. And when I checked about an hour ago, Brent crude was at $106.30 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate was $96.89 a barrel. And the Dow was at 45,897. All right. To go along with that, the U.S. and its allies are using A-10 Warthogs, and I guess we're using A-10 Warthogs because I think we're the only country that uses them. And then AH-64s are being used to shoot down drones along the southern Iranian coast and inside of Iraq, going after Iraqi-backed insurgents. All right, Iranian-backed insurgents. I'm sorry. All right, so that is your Iranian update, right? And before we really get into things, old Spartacus in the U.S. Senate, that'd be Senator Cory Booker. Spartacus tried to do some type of resolution inside the Senate to block the president's ability to go after Iran, and it failed. So Spartacus got cut by his own sword, I guess. Or he can go back to being little Spartacus. All right, so we got all that done. We got that done. All right, so here we go. So, with that being said, we have the Pentagon is asking Congress to boost Iran war funding by $200 billion. That's like $1 billion a day. The Pentagon is asking Congress to boost funding for the war in Iran. War Secretary Pete Hegseth announced Thursday, which was this morning. Hegseth revealed the request while taking questions from reporters at the Pentagon, saying the department is requesting roughly $200 billion in additional funding. He said that number could be flexible, however. As far as the $200 billion, I think that number could move. Obviously, it takes money to kill bad guys. So we're going to ask for Congress and our folks there to ensure that we're properly funded for what's been done and for what we may have to do in the future. Ensure that the ammunition, everything is refilled, not just refilled, but above and beyond. A senior House Republican source told Fox News Digital that the request is north of $200 billion, adding that the price tag will be whatever it will be. All right. So just like what in the world are we doing? $200 billion. Well, bombs aren't cheap because we don't just drop dumb bombs anymore. We drop smart bombs. They all have guided systems in it. And then we're not fighting on the ground, we're fighting in the air, which means upkeep of aircraft, upkeep of missiles being fired. You got personnel in those planes at all times. You got fuel. You got tankers that are up almost 24/7, refueling planes going back and forth from the area of responsibility. So that amount. It'd be different if you had soldiers on the ground. I mean, it's bloodier when we're on the ground, but we don't soak up as much money as an airplane or aircraft carrier takes to be forward deployed. All right, but that's probably right. And we left $85 billion worth of equipment in Afghanistan. So we're replacing what we've used and going, like you say, going north of it to make sure that we have the capability of something like this happening again. So, and I would suggest that if the Congress would get off its fourth point of contact and start doing their job the way they're supposed to be doing, maybe they can do a budget reconciliation and insert this funding into the budget reconciliation and get it done faster. All right. If that makes sense, put some comments in the live chat, because I think it does make sense. Just do another budget reconciliation and insert this money into it. All right. Alrighty. So next, Senator Markwayne Mullin from Oklahoma, my wife's favorite place. If you didn't know, my wife's from Tulsa. All right. So Senator Markwayne Mullin, he had his approval vote in the Homeland Security Committee in the Senate. It was a switcheroo thing because it passed on party lines, except for John Fetterman voted with the Republicans and Rand Paul voted with the Democrats. I don't know. So now his nomination goes to the full Senate, and I think it said in here that it should go up next week. A Senate Democrat proved to be the decisive vote to advance Senator Markwayne Mullin to the next round of his confirmation journey after an explosive hearing. That's because Senator Rand Paul, a Republican from Kentucky who chairs the Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee, vowed not to support Mullin, whom he contended was unfit for the role. Mullin countered that if he had a problem with somebody, maybe he should say it to their face. More so, he hoped that to prove to Paul and Senate Democrats on the panel that he would be the right man for the job. I'm going to earn the job. I won't fail you, Mullin said. I won't back down from a challenge, and I also admit when I'm wrong. I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be perfect. I make mistakes just like anybody else. But mistakes, if you own them, you can learn from them and you can move ahead. And I'll make that commitment to you. And like several times on the Senate floor, Paul and Senator John Fetterman switched positions on their votes. Fetterman was the only Democrat on the panel to back Mullin, and without his vote, Republican plans to sprint through the confirmation process would have been dealt a stiff blow. Fetterman acknowledged that he could be the difference maker after the hearing. I came here and committed to come here and with an open mind, and I'm going to continue to do that, Fetterman said. I'm not going to be about gotcha moments for me. My experience with you is to be consistent and professional. Mullin's confirmation to become the next Department of Homeland Security Secretary will now head to the Senate floor in the next coming days and will require just a simple majority vote to give him the green light for the position. But several Senate Democrats may not support him because of the ongoing fight over the DHS shutdown. Democrats have demanded stringent reforms to immigration and custom enforcement and CBP, Customs and Border Protection, throughout the shutdown battle. I will not be supporting Senator Mullin's nomination should it come before the Senate. Chucky Schumer said that. The problem at DHS, especially ICBP, runs far deeper than just who's in charge. Still, Mullin survived a sometimes joyful, sometimes grueling back and forth during the hearing, and Senate Majority Leader John Thune believed that once it's out of committee, Mullin would have broad support across the Senate. Obviously, hearing sounds like this is spicy at times, but at the end of the day, it comes back to the job, and it comes back to the right person for the job, and I think Markwayne is that right person. Thursday's vote really nearly didn't happen after Paul and Gary Peters He's the Democrat senator from Michigan, which he is. I believe he's retiring. The top-ranking Democrat on the panel clashed over travel the lawmaker took several years ago. They were supposed to meet in a skiff to talk about the travel, and Rand Paul didn't even show up, and he still voted no. The little penny-ante politics and boys in the sandbox type environments. It's the United States Senate. It's not the Philippines where they fight in their parliament. I think it's the Philippines. But what is the problem with Kentucky? You have Mitch McConnell, that doesn't like the president. It looks like you have Rand Paul, that doesn't like the president, and has all kinds of beef with Markwayne Mullin. And then you have Thomas Massie from Kentucky. All three of those guys, out of, I think they have like 4 or 5 congressmen and 2 senators in the whole state. What is the problem with Trump and people from Kentucky? I don't understand it. It's too easy. The president's doing his best job he can, but hey, look, on a broader subject, Markwayne Mullin is one step closer to being the new cabinet secretary for Homeland Security. I think, if I remember right, only Marco Rubio and then Markwayne Mullin, I think they're the only 2 former senators that are in the president's cabinet right now. I think everybody else came from outside of it and from the House of Representatives. All right, so we got that taken care of. And then last night, I was, after I got home from church, we were eating dinner. My wife makes some good meatloaf. But that beside the fact, our daughter Rachel was eating dinner with us, and she said, "Dad, did you see the new Nick Shirley video?" I'm like, "No, I haven't seen it yet. Where is it?" She said, "Well, I have it here." She showed it to me, and it was about a couple minutes long. And he was in Van Nuys, California. He was at some hotel, or they call it an inn, right? It's a hotel with the doors on the outside. And believe it or not, in the room 222, there's this office, and they do hospice care. Matter of fact, he noticed the whole hotel does hospice care. Every single room is a different business. He said he knocked on the door, no one answered, and said the reason why no one answered, and he went over, the blinds were open. He looked in because the building is vacated. This company named the company, and it was they had received several $1 million in Medicaid funds that they weren't due. And nobody, it was all fraudulent. And every single one of these companies were doing the same thing. He ran into 2 of them, I think it was, and he said they vacated the premises as soon as they saw him. So I think it was Dr. Oz who said we could put a serious dent into the federal debt if we could just get our hands on these companies that are defrauding the U.S. taxpayers. Not just the federal government, the U.S. taxpayers. If you would like, say something, let's see. If you agree with the government taking back from these fraudsters, put a Y in the chat, all right? See, I just had something come up. Hold on just a second. Something came out from New York Post. No. Secret lies of Mormon wife star brutally attacks ex with a chair. Oh, okay. Who cares? Well, I care, but I was looking for national news. All right. So, so Nick Shirley, and he's doing a really good job out there. Matter of fact, I ordered one of his quality Leering Center shirts. Can't wait for it to come in. That would be cool. All right. So, next. the man of the hour, Joe Kent. All right. So what I wrote down is, let's see. Oh, no. Right before I get to that, the Intel community, and I think it might be already over with. I'm not sure. The Intel community is briefing the House, um, and that includes Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard, um, John Radcliffe. He's the CIA director, and there was two generals that were in there also. So they're briefing the U.S. House Intel Committee. All right, and then over here next is the man of the hour, Joe Kent. If you really want to learn about Joe Kent, uh, you should have heard Dan Bongino this morning, because he ripped him to shreds. Because no sooner than Joe Kent resigned from the administration, he went before Tucker Carlson News, TCN, right? And they, what is it called? He interviewed Joe Kent behind the paywall, so you had to actually pay Tucker to be able to listen to this interview. And I guess a lot of people wanted to listen to it. Um, Dan Bongino had about 3.5 minutes of it on tape that he showed everybody. Um, and he just ripped them to shreds because it was lie after lie after lie. And he's under, like the article I have right here, he's under investigation from the FBI, and evidently that investigation started long before he resigned from the administration. So the FBI is investigating counterterrorism center director Joe Kent over allegations that he leaked classified information, according to three sources familiar with the matter. The probe predates Kent's departure from government. Sources told Fox News. The FBI declined Fox News' request for comment. The Fox News has reached out to Kent by phone and email for comment. Didn't hear nothing back. Probably not yet. He's probably got already a show booked tomorrow morning, I guess. Kent resigned Tuesday from his role as the nation's top counterterrorism official, citing opposition to the U.S. role against Iran. In a public statement, he said he cannot, in good conscience, support the ongoing war, and arguing Iran has posed no imminent threat. He hasn't been in the briefing, so I don't know how he could know that. His job is to make sure the U.S. is safe from terrorism, in which, if you see what's been going over the last couple of months, he's been failing at that as it is. Also, I'll get to that in just a minute. I'll hold my fire. All right, so that's Joe Kent, right? I have no real update from the Senate on the Save America Act. All I know is the debate proceeds. I mean, they had a what do you call it? Um, the committee hearing for Homeland Security this morning. But like the president said, he's not signing anything unless that thing passes. So hopefully they're talking about it, because we need to secure our elections. Only Americans need to vote in our elections. Voter ID, proof of citizenship to register, no mail-in ballots. That's what we need. All right. Man, my phone just keeps going off over and over again. All right, how y'all doing in the chat? Keep leaving some chats for me, okay? Let's see how many people. We got a few people online. Alrighty. All right. So next, so in Poland, in 2024, before the change in administration. All right. So I didn't know this until I read this last night. I found this on thehill.com, just so you know, if you want to go look at it. What would you say if I told you, let's do this analogy. If James was in Mexico in a taxi and had some classified maps, and I was intoxicated. I don't drink. I've never drank. Okay, and I was in a taxi cab and I was drunk. I had the maps on me, and I got out of the taxi and went to my hotel room, and I left those classified maps in the cab, and the cab drove off. What do you think? And I was on active duty in the Army, which shouldn't have been in. Okay, that's a bad analogy because you can't go to Mexico and be in an army, but that's beside the fact. But just pretend that I was able to do something like that, right? What would you do? I think I would need to be court-martialed for something like that. All right. I mean, easily that could easily have happened, right? Well, it did. U.S. Army Major General Antonio Aguto, who oversaw the command that coordinated, trained, and equipped the Ukraine military, left a tube of classified maps on a train to Poland more than 24 hours it was concussed from falling after overindulgence in alcohol during a dinner in Ukraine. A recently released Pentagon Inspector General report found. Uh, the 56-page report which was published on Friday, took several days, right? Found a now retired two-star general who led the Wiesbaden, Germany-based security assistance group, Ukraine, brought the classified maps during a trip from Germany to Ukraine in late March 2024 and assigned control of them to his staff. That was before the presidential election, all right? Before Otto Penn decided he wasn't running for re-election and let that laughing hyena do. And she lost, spending $1.7 billion. We found insufficient evidence to determine who had control of the classified maps once the travelers boarded the train for the return trip, the watchdog said in the report, adding that the travelers left the maps in the train when they arrived back in Poland on April 4th, 2024, and the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine recovered the unintended maps a day later. When he got back to Wiesbaden, Aguto was told by the executive officer that the tube was gone. Classified information is typically transported via courier. It was not ordered at that time. What happened? Where was his MI officer, right? Major General Aguto took responsibility for the incident. The Inspector General interviewed Aguto and 33 witnesses as part of the investigation after receiving 3 anonymous complaints between May 20, May 24, 2024. The office spoke with the State Department personnel familiar with the events and reviewed classified and unclassified emails, medical records, official travel records, and other documents. Aguto was head of the SAGU, Special Assistance Group Ukraine, SAGU, which was established in November with about 300 personnel to ensure America is postured to continue supporting Ukraine over the long term until August 2024. The probe, he was in command to August 2024. The probe also included allegations of a toxic environment at SAGU headquarters, although Aguto was not liable for the unit's issues. On May 13th, 2024, during a 9-day trip to Ukraine, Aguto was at a dinner in Kiev, Ukraine's capital. During the engagement, he drank chakta, or I think that's how you pronounce it, an alcoholic beverage that contains 40 to 50% alcohol, and testified that he was some level of intoxicated. Wait, let me stop there. I thought the general order number 1 was that as a deployed soldier, you are not allowed to be intoxicated. If I'm right, someone tell me if I'm right. And if you're a veteran and you're watching this, either put it in the comments or put it in the live chat or both. If you are allowed under general order number 1 while deployed, are you authorized to drink alcohol? All right. After the dinner, 2 witnesses reportedly seeing Aguto fall and hit the back of his head on the wall. Sometime later that night or early in the morning, Aguto fell again and hit his forehead. The preponderance of evidence established that Major General Aguto suffered a moderate to severe concussion caused by head injuries from at least one, if not all 3 falls in the late evening of May 13 and the morning of May 14. The IG office said in a report, Major General Aguto's medical exam on May 14th and comprehensive evaluation by a neurologist and imaging tests on May 16th confirmed that General Aguto had a concussion. Although Aguto, I put the staple too far in. Although Aguto knew him, he looked at him like he barely knew him, and also noticed the Army general had a little bit of smell of alcohol. A little bit? He's drinking 50% would be 100 proof. Man. We determined by preponderance of the evidence that the effects of General Aguto's intoxication from overindulgence in alcohol during a dinner on May 13, 2024, caused the first fall in his hotel room, resulting in a concussion. The report said Aguto said he acted in good faith and was allowed by General Darrell Williams, then the commander of U.S. Army Europe, it's called USAR, to consume alcohol. So there's another problem. I acted in good faith within what I believe was appropriate guidance from General Williams, and as during our conversation, he indicated no limitation on alcohol consumption. Aguto told the Inspector General's office. All right. So this all reiterates back to General Order number 1, if it exists for deployed soldiers, right? Which is incorporated into the rules of engagement, probably. While he was in an active war zone, consumed alcohol. What would have happened if lo and behold, some Spetsnaz unit dropped in on their dinner party and he was required to defend himself and his classified information, and he was intoxicated and couldn't do it. The whole purpose of limiting the alcohol in your body to keep it so you keep a clear mind, so you know what's going on around you. It's called situational awareness, that you can observe everything that's going around you. He didn't have a courier with him, and he had hold of classified information that he lost. Even though they recovered it 24 hours later, he lost this guy. We were complaining about Mark Kelly in the Senate about the video he made. This guy, I'll tell you right now, when I was in Afghanistan, we lost our communications network because some lame brain lieutenant tried to upload classified information into a Nipper computer and took down the whole comms network. And 900 and I think 63 computers had to be purged because they actually opened a file that was sent to them. And this lieutenant was out of theater like within a day of it happening. How does an 08, let's see, lieutenant, captain, major, lieutenant colonel, be an 08? How does an 08 get away with losing classified information in a combat zone that we're not even supposed to be in at all? No ground troops inside of Ukraine. How in the world did a major general, and I'm sure, leave it to me, I was just in the Army for 25 years. I'm not even going to get to the rest of my news, man. Anywhere a general officer goes, he has a protective service team with him. Are you telling me that this 08 was roving around Kiev without a protective service team? I'm waiting for an answer. Anyone in the chat can tell me if you are a major general that you don't have a protective service team, and especially if you're carrying classified information. Because I don't buy that story at all. I want to know, did he get beat up? Did he get that concussion? Did someone look at the classified maps and then leave him? Why was he drunk? I mean, why did General Williams give him the permission to consume alcohol on a trip that was in a combat area between Russians and Ukrainians? And in Kiev, it could be Russians, North Koreans, and whoever else against the Ukrainians. Something bad could happen. Could you imagine? Let me put this up. Could you imagine if the Russians would have found out there was a U.S. Major General on the ground in Kiev advising the Ukrainians on the fight? And if you didn't have a protective service team on there, they could have easily took him into custody and they would have had him in Moscow like that. That IG report really thoroughly needs to be investigated, sent to Congress, and back to the Department of Defense or Department of War. That general needs to be brought back. They need to find out what exactly happened, and they need to get the old user commander, General Williams, and he needs to be investigated also for allowing that to happen. And why did it happen? Because when you put your nation, our nation, my nation at risk because you want to drink a little bit of alcohol, I'm willing to bet he probably got beat up. He just didn't fall. Really? Come on. Alrighty. So let me continue on. Man, I'm losing visitors. What in the world is going on? Come on, guys. All right. So went enough on a tangent. Next thing is our favorite subject, the judge that President Trump loves Judge Boesberg. Okay? The only thing good about Judge Boesberg, he has the same first name as me, but we're two totally different people. General Boesberg, this came out of the Fox News, okay? So, Judge Boesberg, a frequent thorn in President Trump's side, ordered court procedures to require notice when a grand jury refuses to approve an indictment, at least temporarily. The move, ordered earlier this month, followed Trump's administration's failed effort to secure charges against 6 Democrat members of Congress, which Trump and his backers have called the seditious six, for telling U.S. service members not to obey illegal orders. This court, quote, this court has reviewed the current practices relating to the return of indictments and notification of instances in which a grand jury has declined to indict. In furtherance of the interest of consistency and transparency, and pursuant to the authority under Rule 57.14 subsection B, this court finds that notification should be provided to the duty magistrate judge whenever a grand jury fails to concur in an indictment, regardless of whether the defendant has already been charged. The order bullet pointed 3 directives. Wow. When a grand jury fails to concur in an indictment in a grand jury original investigation, the foreperson shall promptly and in writing report the lack of concurrence to the duty magistrate judge under seal. Notifications provide pursuant to the order shall be maintained in a confidential file of the clerk's office and will not be made public absent the court order from the court. The order shall remain in effect for 120 days, during which the court will consider the adoption of a rule requiring such notifications, see LCVR 1.1b. Trump's Justice Department has sought potential grand jury indictments of 6 Democrats in November: Jason Crow, Meg Goodlander, Chris Deluzio, Chrissy Houlihan, and Senator Kelly and Senator Slotkin, for publicly calling for U.S. service members to reject unlawful orders. Well, it's not. So they said to reject unlawful orders, but what they really said was, in the video, was to think about the orders that are given to you, and you have the ability to disobey them. All right, that's how it was implied. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth warned the video is urging the military to violate the chain of command, and Trump called the political attack seditious behavior, calling for them to be arrested and put on trial for potential acts of treason, behavior punishable by death. It's already 12:55. Oh my goodness, man! Nobody told me. Piero fired back at Boesberg's recent moves last Friday in a Fury news conference, including blocking a subpoena by the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, who Trump had long rebuked as too late for lowering interest rates and massive cost overruns and delays of $3 billion for a new Federal Reserve building. I saw that press conference, and I feel sorry for her because she blew her top at Boesberg. I'm afraid that if I would have been in a courtroom with her after that, I would have just pled guilty, because it was not a good day after she found out what Boesberg had done, right? Here's the court order. Let's see. I'm going to just says pursuant to local criminal rule 57.14, the chief judge shall hear and determine all matters relating to the proceeding before the grand jury. This court has reviewed current practices relating to the return of indictments and notifications of instances in which grand jury has declined to indict. So basically, he changed the rules to win the game, and just like in California, and just like in Virginia, they're changing the rules, even though they can't change the rules because they don't like the potential outcome of not having that rule in effect, right? All right, so man, where did everybody go? Man, I think they're going out to eat lunch. All right, so we got that done. That's all right. We're gonna do some. We're gonna do a little bit of premium in just a minute, right? But besides that, before I do that, I wanted to read this. So March 31st in Texas or around the country is Cesar Chavez Day. All right. And so Governor Abbott, the governor of Texas, he blocked yesterday the annual Cesar Chavez observation in Texas. He said it's not going to happen, and that's because of the allegations that he raped and sexually assaulted at least two different women back in the 60s and 70s, right? Cesar Chavez died at age 66 in 1993, all right? So Texas will not observe Cesar Chavez Day this year. Governor Greg Abbott announced yesterday that revelations that the progressive outcomes history of sexual assault are enough to withdraw the annual observance and strike it from state law. Chavez, a socialist union organizer, has been hailed a hero on the left since his death in 1993. Over the last 30 years, Democrats have rushed to name schools and streets after him. His birthday, March 31st, became a federal holiday under Barack Obama in 2014. Now, though, widely reported allegations that Chavez was a pedophile and a sexual predator has caused even former supporters to step back. The state of Texas will not observe the Cesar Chavez Day holiday. I am directing all Texas state agencies heads to comply. In the upcoming legislative session, I will work with the Texas lawmakers to remove Cesar Chavez Day from state law altogether, said Abbott on Wednesday. Reports that the horrific and widely acknowledged sexual assault allegations against Cesar Chavez rightfully dismantle the myth of the progressive hero and undermine the narrative that elevated Chavez to a figure worthy of official state celebration. Earlier in the day, the Mexican American Legislative Caucus issued a statement disavowing Chavez, noting that it is prepared to lead efforts to remove Chavez's state holiday. This was written by Michael Sullivan himself on the Texas scorecard, which is really good. So what I'm saying, so if you didn't know, it came out, this one lady, her name was Deborah Huerta, I think it is. I read it in the paper, and is it in the scorecard? It's not in there. Oh. I think her name is Deborah. Her last name definitely is Huerta. On two separate occasions, when she was a teenager, she was raped by Chavez and had a baby each time that she gave up to other people to raise for her. And then it came out he did the same thing to another lady, and actually, well, he raped all of them. But what I was going to say also with this is that hold on, okay, something about New York Mets and baseball and $100 million contract. Uh, so my deal is not only do they need to vanquish his state holiday from the state of Texas in downtown Austin, and I know Austin is a very liberal town, right? They have Cesar Chavez, I think road, I think it's his name. It goes straight through downtown Austin. The first instance that Austin or Travis County or the state of Texas has to rename that street, they need to rename it flat out. All right. He has the United Farm Workers Union, I think it is. Uh, they don't have nothing. They even said that they're not going to observe his uh, observe the holiday either. Let me see something else here. Where is? Give me a second here. F-35 had to make a emergency landing downrange. U.S. F-35 fighter jet likely struck by Iran, forced to land at Middle East Air Base. That just came out. If y'all didn't know, it's already 1 o'clock. Okay, let me see this real quick. Give me a second here. I don't see it. Okay, so I can't find it. You know, like I said earlier, the news has a mysterious way of making news go away. Like sometimes, like 2 days out, I'll be emailing myself articles because I know when it's come time to do show prep, the stuff will just disappear. All right. Um, so, and then the other thing is, where is fake book? Nope. Let me see if it's on here. Nope. See, stuff just disappears. Steak and Shake has a $2.50 Statue of Liberty dessert. Wow. Okay. Yep. See, it disappeared. I don't see it no more. Okay, so check it out. Okay, check out the stuff from about Cesar Chavez, and you'll see. All right. Um, Sarah Huckabee Sanders flipped off, booted from restaurant that claims it made a difficult decision. Here we go with these stupid Democrats kicking Republicans out of restaurants. Like, how do you close your business? Be discriminatory. Happens every time. All right. So I'm going to go to the rest of this. I got some opinion stuff and stuff about Republicans and stuff that I want to talk about. All right. So if you're not already on premium, I'm going to switch to premium in just a second. So if you're not premium, I suggest you get. I didn't make it to all. Let's see. Hey streamer, if you follow me, I'll follow back. For I'm reading a chat here. Okay. Um, that's a really good gesture. No. All right. So I'm back. Whoa, where am I? There we go. All right. So I'm going to premium. So I will check y'all tomorrow morning. So the rest of y'all stand by and we'll go over some Republican stuff. Okay. So I'll check y'all on the flip side.